Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and Carol, presented by Bolin Media. This individual is Ross Bolin, and I'm here with Barrett Dudley to discuss and review episode 3 of Pluribus on Apple TV. How are you, Barrett?
I'm good. I was just right as we're opening the podcast. I'm here and I've opened up Instagram. We were just talking about the Running Man, the new film starring Glenn Powell,
Your boy, Glenn.
who I like to well, Glenn has posted the new cover of Vanity Fair, which is the Hollywood issue, and it's "Let's Hear It for the Boys, Our New Class of Leading Men." And it's a group of these kind of
like how XXL does like the freshman
kind of, yes. And
thing.
this is kind of like our hot new dudes in movies and
dudes who are taking over Hollywood.
Yeah. And so it's Jeremy Allen White, Glenn Powell, Lakeith Stanfield, who you'll remember from Atlanta, and he's done some indie films, that type of thing. Callum Turner, a.k.a. Mr. Dua Lipa.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's in this new film with Miles Teller, the one where they're in heaven, but he has to fight for his old wife, that type of thing.
Sure, yeah.
And then A$AP Rocky. And
shocking lack of Timothée Chalamet.
Well, he's too big.
Then the whole thing is stupid and they shouldn't do it.
This is like it's our new class of leading men, Ross, not our current leading men.
Okay.
Not Timothée Chalamet.
Glenn Powell has been the leading man in like 8 movies already.
Yeah, but Glenn Powell has a perpetual this is actually a really interesting thing about Glenn Powell. He has been like seemingly, quote, I'm doing air quotes here, blowing up for like 6 years now. Does that make sense?
And he just never quite gets there?
I just feel like I feel like he's there, but also not quite.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like would you say he's a household name now? I think he is.
He's pretty close if he's not.
I think he is. But he's also he's just making interesting choices, I feel like. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and as we've talked about ad nauseum, Hollywood just doesn't function the way it once did.
Yeah,
where you've got your Tom Cruise and your Brad Pitt and your Matt Damon, and these guys fill the theater no matter what they're in, kind of thing. That doesn't really work that way anymore.
I just think Glenn Powell makes interesting choices. You know, he's got this big action film that he's in with the Running Man, but also he did like the Chad Powers thing on Hulu. You know.
Yep.
So
A$AP Rocky though, huh?
Okay, so the reason I wanted to bring this up is because Jeremy Allen White is a notoriously a short king. Like that guy is 5'8" on a great day. Right?
Yeah.
Well, so
on his tippy toes.
They've got these guys kind of lined up ever so they're all right about the same height, but they've got A$AP Rocky kind of hunched over so that he looks the shortest out of all 5 of them. And
sure, he appreciates that.
He looks like a hobbit.
Okay.
It's not. They did him dirty here. They did. That's what I'm saying. I don't think A$AP Rocky's a tall guy either, but they did him real dirty here.
Well, Jeremy Allen White listed at 5'7".
Yeah. Okay.
A$AP listed at 5'10".
Well, he looks like he's about 5'4" in this Vanity Fair.
Then I'm
cover.
sure his publicist is quite upset today.
Callum Turner, meanwhile, I think is like 6 feet tall. They've got him way in the back so that he's not just towering over these other
Can't
lads.
have him dwarfing everyone, dude.
Anyway, yeah, that's
Hollywood leading men.
The new class
of them.
Yeah. They're not the leading men of today. They're the new class.
They're up and coming.
They're up and
not previously established.
They're going to be leading men over the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay, fair enough. We are a day late, but not $1 short with this episode of our podcast. Had some health issues here at Bolin Media, so we apologize for the delay, but we are back on the proverbial horse to discuss episode 3. Are you ready?
Ready.
To dive into this thing. So, episode 3 of Pluribus kicks off with a cold open, literally. Ha-ha!
Got him.
Cold open flashback to 2,617 days, 10 hours, 30 minutes, and 42 seconds before extraterrestrial technology blessed the human race with hive-mindedness. And initially when it popped up, I was like, oh, we're going way into the future. And I was really stoked. Not to disrespect this cute little Carol and Helen flashback we get, but I thought we were going way down the line to see how things end up.
Yeah, so you're
and I got real excited.
Yeah, you're reading the numbers there, and that I think they kind of they did that on purpose. You know, they wanted you to have to think because you gotta look at the counter.
Is it going up?
Is it going up? Or is it going down? That's right. And so that
takes a second.
Yeah, it does take a second.
Yeah. So we're with Carol and Helen on vacation in Norway, staying at an ice hotel. And I just didn't see this coming. I hadn't really considered that, like, we're probably going to see some Carol flashbacks and some more Helen. And Helen seemed like she was a good character, the little bit that we got to know her. So
yes,
I was surprised by this.
I'm not that I expected this, but I definitely, based on the casting decision and the way that Helen is pitched to us in episode 1,
makes sense.
This makes, yeah.
The cold stimulates ancient nerves, makes you feel a primal connection to the world. There are ice hotels in Norway, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a real concept, but this one that Carol and Helen stay at does not exist. Because immediately, of course, a bunch of people with the travel bug got online and were trying to find, like, oh, can I go stay in this particular ice hotel? And you indeed cannot. Which then immediately takes my mind to how impressive the set work is to have built this thing out for this little 5-minute opening scene of episode 3. Carol and Helen stay in the koi suite. Looks like each suite is named after a fish. And then I don't know if you noticed it or clocked it, but there's a koi fish above their bed.
Yeah.
Like a koi fish ice sculpture.
Right.
Above the bed.
You can miss me with the ice hotels.
Yeah, 3 degrees below zero in the suites.
Okay, now that's exactly what I've got brought up here, because this is Norway, which means they are almost definitely talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Because we hear 3 below zero and we think Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Like, so 32 is our freezing point. 0 is just like colder than you can even imagine. But this is Celsius.
Isn't that worse?
No. So 3 below Celsius is equal to about 27 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're just below freezing, so that all the ice stays frozen. But because that's what crossed my mind immediately as well.
Yeah, I was like, this is pure misery.
You would die. You would freeze to death.
Well, because like immediately, Helen starts taking off layers.
Yeah.
She's shedding layers, taking off her scarf, whereas Carol stays completely bundled up.
Yeah.
And I'm going, Helen, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're going to freeze.
Yeah.
You're going to get the frostbite.
Yeah.
3 below zero.
This would still be incredibly cold and seemingly miserable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a cold weather guy. At least you're like a ski boy.
Yeah, I like the cold weather. I just don't want to.
Not that cold.
No, I want to be warm and cozy in my hotel room.
So what'd you say this Fahrenheit? It would be like 20 something. Okay, that's not nearly as miserable as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Which puts some of Carol's reaction to this in a little bit more proper context, I think. It's quite invigorating once you get used to it. Even the bed is made of ice. Carol, just not pleased with any of this, not impressed. This is clearly a Helen idea.
They're sleeping on ice, Ross.
Yeah, dude. Nope. Absolutely not. I don't care how much house brandy they've got in the room. This isn't going to work for
I do want
to
see the Northern Lights. I would like to see the Aurora Borealis.
Didn't we have like a potential viewing of that last week or something?
Here?
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure you could see them. The Northern Lights came up very recently.
Wow.
But you're in the midst of not newborn, I guess, anymore, but you just exited that phase.
Right.
And I'm me, so didn't care to catch it.
Yeah.
Helen says Carol says I could have saved that $100,000 and frozen my eggs right here, yolks and all. So Carol froze her eggs. It's something to note if Vince Gilligan decides to have this show run 25 seasons. Carol's a bit of a miserable stick in the mud, stays fully wrapped up in her layers, whereas Helen takes off her giant coat, removes her scarf, settles in. Helen says, oh, come on, this is completely your bag. You love feeling bad. And Carol goes digging for Helen's cell phone to find out if her latest book is on the bestseller list. Now, I didn't try the math on this. How many years is 2,617 days?
I think I crunched it out to about 7 years ago.
Okay. 7 years. Well, good for you, math boy. So this is about 7 years just a little over 7 years what are we calling this? Invasion?
Yeah, sure.
Pre-RNA invasion. So we know Carol's at least a few books. I guess we had established that in episode 1, that she was a well-renowned author. She had a built-out fan base at that point.
She's writing ACOTAR books, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the comp.
Yeah, it's romanticy.
Right. Romanticy.
Very hot genre.
So she's looking for Helen's phone because she wants to find out if her latest book is on the bestseller list, and Helen tells her that she already talked to Val, and it is indeed on the list. I assume Val is like her agent or something. But where on the list? Carol wants to know. And Helen says top 20, but she's like, but like closer to 11 or closer to 20? Nothing is ever good enough for Carol, huh, Barrett?
Yeah.
So Helen shows Carol the northern lights through the windows in their room. Carol says it kind of looks like a screensaver. Helen makes Carol sit on the bed and watch the lights with her. And just before we cut away to the opening sequence, it looks like, this was my read, that just for a second, Carol actually appreciates what she's seeing. Just for a split second there.
Oh, okay.
Before we cut away. So, like, what did you take from this cold open flashback to Carol and Helen's Norway vacation in the ice hotel, Barrett?
Oh, I thought that the freezing of the eggs was quite notable.
Felt like it.
Yeah.
It's too specific.
Right. Yeah.
Of a thing to throw in there, I felt like, right?
Because it begs the question, what about new people? What about new creation of life?
Great thing to bring up. Yeah. Are we going to continue procreating as a human race even though we're all hive-minded now? How does that work?
Right. And if they do, what if two hive mind people bear children, are they automatically part of the hive mind? What about what
about Carol's eggs? What about all the eggs?
What about all the eggs out there? Exactly. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that was notable, and then I just thought it was a nice kind of like, background build out, get to know the characters a little bit more, understand a little bit more about Carol. She's always kind of been a little bit of a curmudgeon. Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going to use. And so no, it's great. Yeah. So that's what I took from it.
I read your mind.
You did.
We're hive-minded.
Yeah, maybe we should just go BHM before hive mind.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's the new BC.
Right.
BHM before hive mind. Okay, I'll try to remember that.
Yeah.
I'll do my best. I felt like another takeaway was that Helen seemed to be the person who helped Carol appreciate the beauty in the world.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Kind of balanced Carol out, but now that Helen is gone, we've just got miserable-ass Carol. And also...
Great point.
And also, the hotel being as cool as it is, and I don't mean that to be double entendre or a pun. It's a very cool thing that these people have built, that they rebuild every year so that it, as he says, literally is a once-in-a-lifetime stay.
Yeah.
Kind of points to, with human beings having individuality and individual creativity, we have created amazing, beautiful things. We've done irreparable damage to the planet, but we've also made some very cool shit.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, will there continue to be any level of creation on Earth? Or is it just, what is here now that the hive mind has taken over? It's just going to be managed. Will it be managed, or will they push things forward? And it seems like the former, not the latter.
That's a great note about creativity, which I think we very much think of as a piece of individuality.
Right.
Art is interesting because it comes from a unique person with a unique perspective or point of view.
Yeah, even if you create in a group, you're all bringing
film,
individual
all of that.
ideas to the table.
So that's a really, really good point about that they're staying at a place that is obviously very creative and crafted.
And the guy that's giving him the tour even tells him, like, we've got all these individual artisans and artists that come in
and do the different rooms, the different suites.
Yeah. So that felt of note.
Yep.
So after the opening title sequence, we bounce back to the present, where Carol and the pirate lady, a.k.a. proud, haughty female Raban, a.k.a. Zosha, are flying back to Albuquerque. So they did not go to Vegas with Kumba.
Yeah.
Sad.
She stopped the plane and said, no, I do actually want Zosha.
Yeah. And that was it. Just got her back on her plane, and I was bummed by this. Apple put out a little 10-second teaser before this episode actually dropped that was just a shot of the ice. And I was like, well, that's not Vegas.
Yeah.
So I kind of was prepared, but I was very much rooting for the Vegas
I forgot about
trip,
that.
man.
You were bullish on Vegas.
I was.
On the Vegas.
I was bullish on the Vegas, and I got a little bit let down here. So the hive mind made sure they have incredibly professional veteran pilots on Carol's plane now, which was a good laugh. On the flight deck is Captain John McConnell and also First Officer Tom Deegan. These individuals have a combined 51,619 hours of flight time, and between the two of them, they've piloted every variant of this capable and trustworthy Airbus A330 aircraft. You're in good hands. Feel free to move about the cabin, Carol. There were multiple scenes in this episode that were used as teasers before this season began. Mm-hmm. This was one of them.
Okay.
With Carol in the back of the plane by herself and with the pilot saying, feel free to move about the cabin, Carol.
Okay.
The other one was Carol talking to the DHL delivery man at the end of the episode.
Yes, I did see that one.
We will get to. We are now 3 days, 3 hours, 11 minutes, and 10 seconds removed from the world being taken over by the alien mind-melding RNA. And I will note, Zojia read your mind, Barrett, and suggests that Carol goes up into first class and enjoy the lie-flat seats to get some rest. She even directly mentions the lie-flats. I was like, whoa. I've never been on first class, so I don't even know what that means, so I'm going to ask you. Lie-flat, does it literally all the way flat?
Yeah.
Like you can go all the way back, straight up, like a little cot for yourself there?
Yeah, that's literally like the main reason to fly business or first class, especially on international, is because the seats up there, they lie flat.
Okay,
so
and
the feet expand out and the chair lies all the way down so that you're in a little bed situation.
Yeah. Okay. So my dumb ass was thinking about like first class on Southwest, and I was like, I don't think those go all the way back.
Right.
So,
No,
but international flights,
yes, on the big planes,
first class is a lot different.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Okay. So Carol pops some alprazolam, which is generic Xanax, and says she's good where she's at. She refuses first class, does not want to go up there. Carol asks Zojia about the non-English speaking normies who are still out there in the world, the ones she hasn't met, because the ones she has met were a pretty big letdown, I think, for Carol.
Yeah.
So let's run through these people. We've got, and I'm going to butcher the names, just being straight up front, I'm going to butcher the names. Biora Kolak, a 60-year-old candy vendor in Istanbul. He speaks Turkish and loves cats. Ida Ayu Dwi, a 23-year-old in Bali, speaks Indonesian Balinese. She's a contortionist and a dancer, performs the barong, the lagong jabog. It's all quite exquisite. Sidor Melis in Sardinia is a fisherman, or he was. He's 89 and retired. Mary Kuksi Akintola lives in Masaru, Lesotho. Her family raises Basotho ponies, but she's only 8 years old, and she hasn't decided on a profession. Abdul Karim Al-Shari lives in Aden, Yemen. He's a 37-year-old muezzin. He sings the call to prayer. He has a powerful tenor voice. He also loves cats. Takio Kitanaka in Osaka makes the best udon noodles in the entire Kahanshin, according to Time Out magazine. And then finally, Manusos Oviedo in Paraguay. They weren't aware of him for the first 33 hours. He manages a self-storage facility in Asuncion. So far, he hasn't really communicated with the hive-minded. And you can immediately tell this guy piques Carol's interest.
Yeah.
Because he has refused to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Whereas all the English speakers she met were completely on board with the takeover of the human race. So
they're just on it. They're just waiting,
they just want to get turned.
to get called up.
Get me on board.
To the big leagues.
Yeah, exactly. So Carol wants to talk to Manusos Oviedo, intrigued by the fact that he has openly refused to communicate with the hive melded, or the mind melded, and even though he only speaks Spanish and a bit of irony, Carol refuses a translator. So she figures she's, I think living in Albuquerque, you probably get exposed to enough Espanol. She figures she can probably get it done, right?
Yeah.
Manusos doesn't answer when Carol calls, so they try him again. He answers the second time. Carol tries to introduce herself in Spanish. He hangs up on her. They call him back, and when he answers, Carol tries to talk to him, and he says in Spanish, "Stop messing with me. Leave me alone, you bitches." So he thinks it's just the hive-minded blowing him up the way they've been blowing up Carol, right?
Yeah.
Carol calls back one more time and yells, "Chingue tu madre, cabron." She can't even say cabron properly. It's cabron or cabron. Then hangs up on him. And Zojia says, "We're sorry, Carol. We don't think it was personal." So Carol locks herself in the airplane bathroom, potentially for the remainder of the flight, and that's that as far as travel back to Albuquerque goes. So it does feel like there's a potential
Yeah, you think we're going to Paraguay?
I don't know if we're going to go to Paraguay or if he'll come to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot to get Carol all the way back to Albuquerque just to then have her like go to Paraguay next
right,
episode.
Sure. Yeah.
But it does feel like there's some potential with another one of these unaffected normies being resistant to what is happening.
I think important to note potentially that what she's looking for is somebody that has any like scientific knowledge, a
medical degree,
yes,
anything,
any like medicine, biology, chemistry, any of that, anything that might be related tangentially or otherwise to like what's happening that could maybe start looking into any way to reverse or fix this or what have you.
Treat it.
And right, and based on the list of people, the 13, there's nobody even close.
Which is a major bummer.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some kind of a loophole with this Manusos fella. I mean, just because he's managing a self-storage facility or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean...
Well, we've got... We'll bring up we can talk more about the biological imperative in a minute here, but, they're right now, they've not really said no to Carol for anything. So I'm wondering... Well, I'll save it. We'll get there. Because there's biological imperatives, and then there's the question about what they will and will not give her.
Oh, okay. I think I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. So finally, Carol returns home to her house, and before she goes inside, Zosha presents Carol with all the mail that was in transit for her. Zosha says they think Carol is really going to like what's in the one package, and Carol gets sad as she's going through some of the junk mail, like one of them's got Helen's name on it, and, that bums her out a little bit. Anyway, she eventually opens the package, and inside is a Theragun.
Yeah.
You ever used one of these?
Oh, yeah.
One of these suckers? I've got one somewhere, I haven't taken it out in years, but Carol picks up the phone and dials 0, asks Zosha what they know about the box in her mail, and she says, Helen ordered it for you. You'd been so stressed out on the tour. You tried one in the Atlanta airport, but you said it was too expensive, so Helen bought one online. She thought it would make a nice gift to celebrate the end of the tour, a homecoming present. Carol freaks out, tells them to forget everything they know about Helen, every memory, every thought she's ever had. Never mention her again, never think about her again. Only I get to remember her. You got that? Only me. Click. Carol hangs up. She's pissed. And we see a reflection of Helen's grave in the window. It's a pretty little shot there. From there, we jump forward 4 days, 12 hours, 4 days, 12 hours, 31 minutes, and 25 seconds on our count up. Carol is passed out on the couch watching what I believe is Golden Girls?
The Golden Girls, yeah.
Okay, starring the late Betty White.
Yep.
And the doorbell rings, and a meal has been delivered to Carol's doorstep. It's an incredible breakfast, the exact meal Carol had ordered at a bed and breakfast in 2012. Carol was very complimentary with the chef that morning, and it really stuck with her. But of course, Carol's grumpy ass doesn't want it. And they say they knew Carol's fridge was pretty bare, and Carol reminds them once again, Helen is off limits. But they knew what was in her fridge due to Teresa from Merry Maids, who cleaned up the home just before Carol got back from the book tour.
I'm really enjoying all of the loopholes, all of the ways that like you might not be thinking about of how they could know something about you.
Yep.
Whether it's a memory or
random made.
Or like what you've got in your house or just anything like that. And it feels pretty clear that they can tap into not only like memory that like an individual has, but it seems like they get access to like a deep well that the individuals may not even have access to, right?
Meaning, what do you mean?
Like they know about this breakfast because of Helen or because of the chef that Carol was so complimentary of?
Both.
Right?
Maybe. Both maybe, yeah.
But like they seemed like it's from 2012.
Oh yeah, okay.
So this is a ways back with the
Oh, I hear you. Okay.
The chef may have recognized that this person was being very, very complimentary in the moment. But would that chef still have that like vivid memory of, oh, it was this person and they liked this meal and it was 2012?
Carol Sturka.
Or is the hive mind able to just like plumb the kind of the deeper synapses, right?
Ah, that's a good point.
The deeper well.
Yeah, we don't know that
how Dumbledore is able to like pull out individual memories, right?
Yeah.
From the wispy memory jar or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like they're able to go deep like that.
Yeah.
They can isolate individual memories, which leads me to another question, which is when she's yelling at them to forget Carol or forget Helen, They probably can't actually do that. I would guess. I don't feel like they can. And that's what we're asking. Is we were asking this after the second episode. What can they kind of like? What can they isolate? What can they focus on? Is it all just one hive mind, or can they like narrow themselves to an individual to be like present within a body, or do they just? Is it only access to everything all the time, right? And so that's still like a question that I've got going as we continue.
Yeah, the way we framed it was like, is that 8-year-old boy we're looking at able to behave and act as that 8-year-old boy did with his personality, his quirks, his mannerisms, or is that all sort of lost in the grand scheme of things because he's now one with everyone?
Right.
Like, can they tap into individuality for the sake of the normies who have been unaffected by the hive mind?
Yes.
And great points about that chef, because like the chef, it's crazy to think about that, but like with the chef alone have tagged that memory with Carol,
right?
So that the hive mind could identify that it was Carol. And we don't even know if Helen was there at that dinner because 2012 we don't know if they were together then.
Yeah, great. Yep.
It's possible that they were, I guess, but all we know is the 7 years back trip to Norway is as far as we've gone. So, don't know.
Yep.
Don't know if they used Helen's memories or just the chef's. But yes, it is crazy how they're able to pull from this insane pool of resources that is every human experience, at least the ones that are still living.
Yeah.
Or at least the one, they don't even have to still be living.
No, yeah.
They just have to have tapped into the hive mind before dying.
Right. Yeah.
Like Helen did. So Carol tells Zosha she wants them to leave her alone and throws away the breakfast into the trash, checks out her fridge to see if they were accurate, and I think she makes a joke about there was slightly more milk.
It's 3/4 of a carton of oat milk.
Yeah, shows what they know. And then she heads off to the grocery store. Sprouts Farmers Market. Unfortunately, the Sprouts is completely empty. Carol picks up a phone and dials 0. Zosha explains that they're consolidating resources to centralize useful items for distribution, food, medicine, anything helpful from stores or businesses or what used to be private homes. It's just more efficient. Carol says she's not going to call them every time she needs something, that she's a very independent person. She just wants her Sprouts back, which are conflicting ideologies. You can't be both a very independent person and also dependent on Sprouts.
Shout out to Sprouts.
Dude, made me wonder.
We have Sprouts in Austin.
We do. One fairly close to our recording studio.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's like it's regional. And now I'm very curious, like, what region? Because I guess they're in Albuquerque. I don't think it's like nationwide, like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. But it's a very specific look. This is exactly what Sprouts looks like inside.
Looks like West and Southwest.
West and Southwest.
Are they heavy concentrations of Sprouts?
And
they're in 23 states.
Really, really fun. This scene is amazing for a variety of reasons. One, and you can outline the scene here in a second. But Vince Gilligan loves process. He loves showing how things are done in a long, drawn-out way. He loves showing you the nitty-gritty, the finer details of a process.
If somebody's making a cup of coffee, he will show you every
step of the cup of coffee. And he did this on Breaking Bad, and he did this on Better Call Saul, to varying degrees of success for different people. Like
sometimes it would honestly get annoying.
People got lost in the first couple of seasons of Better Call Saul because he would go so deep into the process of the legalese, of the paperwork, of some of that stuff that felt boring to a lot of people. Then he kind of flipped the script on that. And like one of my favorite seasons of TV ever is, I believe, season 4 of Better Call Saul, when the process is about how a team of German engineers would live and build an underground meth lab.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And it was fucking incredible.
That's when Better Call Saul was firing on all cylinders.
Because he goes so deep into that process. So you give him an idea like this, like how would a hive mind with all of these resources, how fast and how would they achieve restocking a grocery store in an hour? And then to watch it happen is just like really, really fun and interesting. And it's an amazing, very, very Vince Gilligan scene. And it made me wonder, did they find a Sprouts that had like just closed? Did they actually just empty out a Sprouts and then restock it? Like how'd they do this? Did they have to build it? I'm so curious about the making of this scene. But it
makes me wonder if Sprouts was were they involved? Did he hit up Sprouts like, hey, we want to do, there's a grocery store that doesn't feel too generic. Sprouts doesn't feel that generic.
There were a few moments in this episode that gave me product placement vibes. A couple of them are slipping my mind now. The DHL guy, for one.
Yep, that was another one.
But the Sprouts definitely. We like linger on the Sprouts. And
yeah,
it was just like
multiple times over the course of this like 10 minutes here.
Yeah, so very interested to know more. But fill in any of the details that I missed there.
Okay, so she says she wants her Sprouts back. The response is absolutely, will do. And she's like, so what can we say, like Friday maybe? I just need to know how long to wait till I come back. And the response from Zogia is, we'll be there in a moment. And that's when I was like, yes. I knew exactly what Vince Gilligan was going to do here. So, yeah, it's good fun watching all the trucks pull up. They're all synchronized, crossing over each other. Yep. To completely restock the grocery store for this one person. People are coming out of the woodwork, literally, to help unload and restock the shelves.
They're worker ants,
yeah,
right?
dude,
like,
yeah.
This is,
We're bugs.
We're bugs.
Take it back to Three Body Problem.
Yeah.
We're bugs. Classic Vince Gilligan with the music and the visuals. He always loves, like, if he's going to show people doing something or one of those very specific, extremely over-the-top how something is done scenes, there's always like some upbeat music to it. To like keep you a little more engaged, right?
Yep.
So we watch the count up fast forward.
It always feels very rhythmic.
Yeah.
Like with either little like tinks or like sounds from the process or the upbeat music.
Yeah, like it's almost choreographed.
You mentioned the choreography of the trucks kind of crossing over. It's like very aesthetically pleasing and a lot of
yeah, it's nice. So we watch the count up fast forward from 4 days, 13 hours, 45 minutes, 7 seconds to 4 days, 14 hours, 53 minutes, 25 seconds. So it took about an hour and 8 minutes for all these people to restock the Sprouts completely. And what did you take away from what do you think? What were we doing here? Like, what did you take away from this Sprouts scene? One of my first questions was, okay, she got what she wanted. The grocery store is back.
Yeah.
But they all leave.
Right.
It's not like employees remain to manage it and like there's a cashier and she has to pay.
Yeah.
She just gets to go in by herself with the shopping cart and take everything she needs.
Supermarket sweep, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then all this shit is going to go bad. Like, it's wildly inefficient to have a completely stocked grocery store for one human being to use.
Yes.
As everyone who grocery shops knows, one of the huge pain in the ass things about grocery shopping is that you regularly don't eat stuff before it expires. And then you got to throw it out.
Yeah.
And it's wasteful.
Yeah. I what they do in the aftermath of her shopping is maybe a question that we're not actually going to get the answer to, but it seems like this is such an efficient collective that they'll go plumb the resources that they need from it. Are they
going to do this every time she needs to go?
I don't get the sense that maybe. Yeah, I don't get the sense that they're going to let all the produce go to waste, for example.
Good point.
Right?
Yeah. Hard to imagine they're just going to leave all that there to let it go to waste.
Another thing that it made me think of with the, we've got the grocery store is empty because they're pooling all the resources. They turn the lights off later. Like, I think the show really wants you to think about what like a greater good, like almost like what a perfect society actually looks like. And you remove not just individuality and potentially creativity, but like nobody has a job because you don't need to work really, right? Like, I guess like maybe somebody has to.
It seems like they all do every job.
Like they mentioned like the essential services, hospitals, things like things like that.
But those jobs, even they're not specific to people. Like that's why the DHL worker is the one who comes out to greet Carol at the hospital.
But yeah, so some people have to do something, whether it's like making or providing the energy or taking care of the sick people. But it's so narrowed down to what jobs
the essentials
even need to exist anymore. Because technically nobody needs to make money anymore. So like they're just all, that's what it was making me think of, is like all of these people that are just at hand on a Wednesday at 11,
yeah.
right? Like,
well, but again, nobody's creating an ice hotel, right? So the fun, creative shit is gone.
All gone, yes.
Nobody's running a cupcake shop.
No. Mm-mm.
Right?
Mm-mm.
But as we've seen with Zogia specifically, she's out doing her work as an ant, worker bee, whatever, however you want to put it, picking up dead bodies, and then suddenly the hive mind calls her to go become proud, haughty Raban, the female version, for Carol. So it's like you're doing your worker bee duty, until there's a specific need,
right.
and then they can like call people over,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things we're supposed to take from this episode. It's like, so what work is being done? And it's just the essentials.
And honestly, what is there to do? What are these people doing when they're not being called to restock the grocery store for one of the normies, right?
Do they socialize? Do they sleep? I don't. We haven't seen
we don't
yet.
know. We don't know
yet.
We don't know what the hive mind does
in their off time. Do they have off time? Yeah. What does that look like? And it's one of the questions that popped up for me when they have Zosha traveling from wherever she was before to New Mexico so she can come be Carol's liaison. When she gets off this international flight and somebody immediately hands her a coffee and she slams it, I was like, do they not sleep? Like, wouldn't they get run down and die pretty quickly?
So
they have to sleep.
Yeah, I wondered about that too, because she was like working, and then she flew a cargo jet 14 hours or whatever to Albuquerque. Like, we haven't seen her sleep yet.
No, but they have to sleep.
But surely I think the human body still needs it.
It's required.
Yeah.
Otherwise, death.
Yeah.
So, feels like a lot of this grocery store scene in this episode on the whole is about pointing out how much waste our society produces.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Carol goes home and watches some
For
more...
the sake of convenience and catering to the individual.
Yes. Yeah, that individuality. So Carol goes home, watches some more Golden Girls that night. Then the power goes out. Carol steps outside and watches the power turn off for the entire city. And then the power for her cul-de-sac turns back on. And Zosha calls and explains that they're conserving energy, they're turning off all the lights that aren't necessary, which are, well, most of them. There's no crime to prevent. I thought it was interesting that that's the first thing she dropped, as if like that's maybe like the number one reason we argue that is, like my neighborhood, for example, random thing. It's the first neighborhood I've lived in that's really, really, really dark at night. There's very few streetlights, if any at all. Whereas like the neighborhood where our recording studio is, there's quite a few streetlights to keep things lit up in the street at night. Anyway, no crime to prevent. They're not working at night except for essential operations like water treatment, hospital, things like that. Carol asks, so it's more of your efficiency? And she responds, yes. You donated twice to the Sierra Club, so we felt you'd understand. If you'd like, we'd be happy to restore the rest of the lights. And Carol says, no, screw it, leave them off. Who gives a shit? And if Carol's negativity isn't starting to rub on you by this point in the episode, you're a stronger person than I. But again, interesting. They have this plan and this outlook, and they're trying to be efficient and conserve energy and become almost like this perfect race, right? That does as little damage as possible to the planet. But if Carol wants, they will undo all of that. They will turn all of the lights back on just for her, if that's what she wants. So Zosha asks, like, Carol, is there anything we can do to cheer you up? You feel like even them at this point, they're like, come on, lady, like, can we get one smile out of you? Carol says, cheer me up? Why? I'm fine. I'm so happy. There's nothing wrong with me that a fucking hand grenade wouldn't fix. You got one of those? Because I think that would be the perfect topper for the greatest week in human history. Click. Carol hangs up. So now it's time for our discussion of the conclusion of episode 3 of Pluribus, which is brought to you by Raycon. This message is sponsored by Raycon. Keep your ears open and your holiday playlists rolling with Raycon's essential open earbuds. These open earbuds let you stay connected to your surroundings while enjoying your favorite music, podcasts, or calls. Perfect for a jog, commute, grocery shopping, or just kicking back. And this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you can save up to 30% on all Raycon audio products. Raycon's essential open earbuds keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. They just sit outside your ear canal, so you can stay tuned into traffic, coworkers, or whatever's happening around you without losing out on music or podcast quality. Lightweight and all-day comfortable. They never feel bulky, and the secure fit means they stay put, whether I'm at the gym, out on a walk, or grinding through my to-do list. Here's the kicker. Raycon delivers the same premium audio quality as the big brands, but at half the price. Add in over 3 million happy customers and a 30-day happiness guarantee, and there's zero reason to overpay. These days, I feel like everyone has on the same boring old earphones. Raycon gives you more style, more flair, and a perfect fit for your ears. I've been wearing mine for a couple of weeks now. They're just as good, if not better, than my old shit. So if you're in the market, I highly recommend them. A couple of features that they have that make them my everyday go-to. Open ear design. Breathable fit delivers comfort, safety, and immersive audio while keeping you aware. multi-angular hook. You've got the rotating ear hook that ensures a secure, personalized fit for any activity. They're lightweight, ultralight, with a flexible ear hook that adapts to any ear for all-day comfort and awareness. Multi-point connection. You can connect to multiple devices and switch seamlessly without hassle. 36 hours of battery life, 8-hour earbuds, plus the 36-hour case equals days of nonstop listening. Black Friday is around the corner. Raycon audio products are up to 30% off site-wide. From everyday essentials to the latest releases, it's the perfect time to upgrade your sound or get ahead on gifting. These early deals won't last long. Shop now before they're gone. Go to buyraycon.com/oystersopen to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/oystersopen. So Carol goes to her bathroom sink to take some more alprazolam with a glass of water, then says fuck it and pours herself a tall glass of liquor with which to wash down her pills, which feels like an escalation for Carol.
Yeah.
She goes back to the couch to watch some more Golden Girls, and of course, Zosha arrives to deliver the hand grenade that Carol requested. Zosha apologizes for taking so long, says they thought Carol was probably being sarcastic, but they didn't want to take the chance. Were you being sarcastic? Carol invites Zosha inside eventually and tells her she can bring the hand grenade. And she asks, do you maniacs drink? She's getting lonely, Carol, right? Plus, frankly, Zosha is quite pleasant. You know?
Yeah. And also is clearly some piece of fantasy.
And?
Right?
And there's a little Helen in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So Zosha does come inside, and Carol asks her, does the whole world get drunk when you drink? Like, does some 6-year-old in Sri Lanka slur his words when you knock one back? And she explains, no, it doesn't work like that. So, like, anything you put in your physical body, obviously.
The body is still
That's separate.
Yeah.
It's the mind that is melded.
Right.
Not the physical. What Zosha eats does not make anyone else shit.
Right.
Just Zosha. Shoopy shoop shoop. Carol and Zosha spend some time discussing the root origins of different English words for specific alcohols. You're getting into like how much fun it would be to have like a personalized fucking encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Carol asks how long she has left until they turn her into a worker bee. Zosha says scientific advances tend to ebb and flow, so it's hard to predict, but they're working around the clock. It could be as soon as a couple of weeks, or it could take months or longer. Carol's like, regardless, sooner or later, I'm fucked. Zosha says, sorry, Carol, we have a biological imperative. So Carol goes on yet another angry tirade, expressing confusion with the entire situation. And Zosha says, Carol, if you were walking by a lake and you saw somebody drowning, would you throw him a life preserver? Of course you would. You wouldn't think, you wouldn't wait, you wouldn't try to get consensus on it, you'd just throw it. Carol responds, so now I'm drowning? And Zosha's like, yeah, you just don't know it. Which is a deep philosophical look at humanity, right? And everything we've got going on as a human race. So Carol goes on a rant here. She says, I mean, what could possibly be so great about this mind meld of yours? Actually, let me guess. It's all beautiful scenery and you feel nothing but contentment, just wave after wave of bliss and peace, and everything is perfect. It's like living inside of a postcard every second of every day. Basically, it's like every Rick Steves special ever, right? That kind of bullshit. Like you're taking a hike in the woods and there's a warm rain and the trees are so tall you can't even see the tops, or you're having coffee on the canals in Amsterdam and it's like you're in a coffee commercial, or you're taking a walk at sunset on the most flawless beach in Croatia, or you're in Norway above the Arctic Circle, and Zosha says, in a hotel made of ice under a pile of furs. So what does Carol realize here? Why does she stop when she gets to, or you're in Norway above the Arctic Circle, and...
Well, she's specifically referencing this Rick Steves character, who is real, who's an American travel writer that I'm actually not familiar with, but he's a TV personality and an activist who specializes in European travel. He's known for his budget-friendly guidebooks and his public television series.
And they had him brought up earlier at the Norway vacation.
Yes, they do.
That's why they went there.
He had highlighted this place. Yeah. So if she's just choosing a bunch of things that were on a Rick Steves list, that was my initial thought, is that they just know what she's talking about next. But maybe I'm missing something that you're picking up on.
No, I mean, honestly, my first thought was more that as Carol's rattling all this off, she starts to realize, you know what, this doesn't sound so bad.
Okay.
Like that moment she has at the beginning of the episode
yeah.
where she looks up at actually stops and takes a second to appreciate the Northern Lights and thinks to herself, maybe this is kind of beautiful.
Right.
Maybe Helen is right.
Yeah.
And frankly, when she's going through all that, it's like, yeah, those are kick-ass circumstances. Having coffee on the canals in Amsterdam,
and
it's like you're in a coffee commercial.
Yeah, yeah. And this is just the experience all the time because you have all this
connectivity to everything constantly, right? Yeah. So could have been that it actually doesn't sound so bad. Mm-hmm. Maybe Helen would have loved it. Mm-hmm. You know,
they say that Helen did love it,
and maybe she does want to join the mind meld to be with Helen again. I don't know. Right. I don't know. There's no certainty to any of this, but clearly they wanted us to at least consider what is going through Carol's mind there when she gets to the end of this rant, and she can't even finish it.
Right,
and Zosha kind of has to help her out. She does say, I told you Helen was off limits. You're a bunch of mind fuckers. And she grabs the grenade. She accidentally arms the grenade. And Zosha has to save her life by throwing her to the ground and diving on top of her. So Zosha gets injured. The crazy scene, but I mean one that I think you probably saw coming. I was pretty certain the grenade was going to
go off.
Especially because of the combination of booze and pills and everything that we had going. Yeah. So Zosha is injured.
Carol, if we may.
Yeah.
Chunks it.
Throws it through the window and perfect military form, grabs her and dives on top of her. So of course, Carol doesn't even have to call for help. It's already on the way.
Yep.
But she does take off her shirt and use it to apply pressure to this wound that's bleeding on Zosha's back. Which led me to the question, when one person in the mind meld feels pain, do they all feel it? And we don't know the answer. It's just curious because when they all feel emotional stress, from being yelled at,
it's triggering something. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like.
Again, I think the
physical is different.
Is still different. Yeah.
I think you're right. That remains individual. So Carol goes to the hospital and waits to find out if Zosha is okay. A DHL delivery man comes out and tells Carol that Zosha is doing much better. She had some blood loss, no nerve damage, pretty severe concussion. She's resting. And Carol asks, "Why would you give me a hand grenade? Why wouldn't you give me a fake one? If I asked for another hand grenade right now, would you bring me another one, even after last night?" The guy's like, "Yes." She's like, "What about a bazooka? And whatever a bazooka shoots, a rocket or whatever." He's like, "Yep." She's like, "What about, I don't know, a tank?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." She's like, "What about an atom bomb?" He's like, "Why would you want one?" It's funny how there's certain things they do. They will express a little uncertainty.
Yeah.
Carol encourages him to say no at this point, that would be sane, not utterly batshit crazy. And he's like, "If you truly wanted a nuclear weapon, we would weigh the pros and cons with you and explain that it would be very destructive. But ultimately, yes. Wouldn't necessarily feel good about it, but we would move heaven and earth to make you happy, Carol. Would you like an atom bomb?" And she says, "I'm going to have to get back to you on that." And he's like, "Okay, would you like a cup of coffee?" And she sends him away. And she seems to be contemplating her next move. Roll credits. So, what the hell was all this about? Is she going to ask for a nuclear weapon?
I don't think she's going to ask for a nuclear weapon. But this is kind of what I was, had started to talk about earlier. They'll give her anything she wants, even if it potentially means that many of them would be in harm's way, right? They'll give her a nuclear bomb, which she could then explode wherever she wants to and kill millions of them. So why would they not also give her a science lab or all the information on biology or make her whatever she wants as far as scientific research and thesis goes? Can she essentially use them to do this work that she's after with one of the normies? And
does she even need someone that has a science or medical background if she can just use the hive mind as worker bees for her own means?
Because that's where my mind is kind of going on this, is what is she going to try to do, right? I think we have to start tugging at that thread a little bit and going down that path. And right now as we heard the list at the beginning of the episode, there's no normie that seems to be able to will be able to help at all.
And even if there was one, what the is that going to do?
Yeah,
is that enough?
And
Probably
how long
not.
Is that going to take? Right. So and so we don't know exactly what the biological imperative again prevents or doesn't otherwise, because they'll seemingly give her anything, but they also must turn her, basically. That's the imperative that Zosha keeps mentioning, right? Is that they are going to turn and take every single person that they can. That's the imperative, I think.
Yeah. And in the meantime, they seem willing to do literally any and everything
anything
to try and please her.
Yes. So,
which you have to think, I think you're probably right,
would
include helping her try to solve them.
I think so.
Which is a crazy thought.
Yeah. That's where that kind of left me, is that the idea that they will give her and do anything for her, restock the grocery store completely, fully, every shelf full, whole bushels of oranges and walls full of bread. She's one person. They're gonna right?
Yeah.
So how can she use that? What else will they do?
They'll give her an atom bomb. They'll restock a grocery store. They'll deliver this meal she had in 2012 or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
So that's where I got to think that's leading towards. Yeah. What about you?
No, I think that's spot on. I honestly didn't know. As far as I got with it was, it makes no sense for Carol to actually use an atom bomb. She just wants to murder a bunch of people. They didn't choose this, right? The people she would be killing did not choose this.
Yeah.
The biological imperative took them.
Yeah.
They've essentially been abducted in a way, right? So like just doing murder all willy-nilly doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't get us anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't seem like like you said, they'll give her anything. They don't care. Mm. She's already wiped out 11 million plus that we're aware of. It's probably at least double that at this point, because she had another freak out after they told her about the 11 million. So they're willing to sacrifice as many worker bees as it takes, seemingly. We don't know if there's a limit to that or what, but like, if they'll do anything, it just, as far as I got was, well, clearly whatever she's contemplating is not about an atom bomb.
Yes.
So that's probably the moment that it occurred to her, what you just laid out.
Yeah.
Well, these idiots will do anything for me. Then why don't I just have them set up the lab and start researching how to undo what they have done?
Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And seems correct to me. So, this discussion of the conclusion of episode 3 of Pluribus has been brought to you by Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/oystersopen to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. So let's talk about some of the big takeaways here. Yeah. These hive-minded people will literally give Carol anything she asks for. We just covered that. Timeline on Carol being converted could be any time from the next couple of weeks to months to years, depending on how many good ideas Vince Gilligan can come up with for the story. Zosha we talked about this last week, but I want to put it back on the board. Zosha seemingly did want to stay with Carol when she stopped before boarding Air Force Kumba and looked at Carol.
Yeah.
And they did not go to Vegas. Carol literally went and got her off that plane and got her back on hers, and Zosha almost seems happy about it.
Yeah.
Although she has had a wardrobe change. Right. She's wearing whatever dress, I guess, Kumba picked out for her. But Carol pulled her off that plane, didn't go to Vegas with Kumba, returned to Albuquerque. That's still an interesting wrinkle to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it doesn't really fit into the narrative of the whole hive-minded, lacking individuality, or we contemplated whether or not the hive mind is capable of deception or lying on any level. Mm-hmm. Well, like, why would Zosha prefer to stay with Carol? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can they have preference?
Sure.
Right? So all that is still kind of up in the air. Seems like this show is going to point to a lot of issues in the systems of Western society.
Well, so I've not read any think pieces or really much at all about this show beyond our discussion here.
Nor have I.
I have heard about some of it, and there are some obvious comps. There are some obvious things that I feel like you can put onto this show if you want. I don't necessarily have any feel for whether there was intention behind it from Vince Gilligan or not.
Perfect example, the AI discussion.
But take your pick of whether this is about AI, whether it's about climate change, whether it's about wokeism, whether it's about like any number of things that people have brought up.
Well, and why can't it be about all of them?
And it could. That's what I think. I think it's kind of take your pick. This is,
and that's how art works.
That's kind of the beauty of this, is that you get to put it onto it, kind of what you want, and it will almost work as a vehicle for that discussion, for that discourse. So
I will note I have seen like a few Instagram posts, and I saw one where Vince Gilligan was quoted as saying, like, he started writing this show before AI even bubbled up
Yeah.
as a massive, cultural revolution that's occurring.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, it wasn't about AI. It's not really about AI. There are plenty of comps, obviously.
Social media, connectivity,
Right.
24/7 news cycle, like all these things are like things
yeah.
that you can kind of plug in a way.
Yeah, and just to give some clarity for the audience as well, for the Clam fam that's riding with us, for me, I don't go and read a bunch of articles or think pieces about the show because then I just end up intentionally or otherwise inserting other people's thoughts into our programming. So like y'all can go get that from there. That's why I try to steer clear of that stuff. It's not that I want to remain an ignorant buffoon. It's just that I want to provide, and that I'm illiterate, which is also the case, but it's that I want to provide like my insights, my takeaways, my thoughts on the show, because those resources and those articles and those columns and interviews and YouTubes and all that shit, that's out there for y'all. So for the most part, I try to avoid reviews or breakdowns. Like our reviews are scene by scene shit every week. Like I'm sitting there and rewatching the episode and writing that myself to be able to avoid anybody else's input. But as Barrett just mentioned, I have seen some of the feedback around like, what is this show about?
Right.
And at the end of the day, I do think it remains true of all art that's kind of the point. Like you get to decide.
Yeah.
It's the reason I won't let David Chase tell me what the ending of The Soprano means.
Mm-hmm.
The Sopranos.
Yeah.
You made the show, sir.
Yeah.
You chose to have the ending be non-definitive.
Yep.
I get to decide now. It's mine now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But let me see if I had any other. Oh, as far as pointing out issues in human systems,
Mm-hmm.
and last week we had no one in prison, no animals in zoos, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
This week, no wasting food, no wasted energy, no wasted resources. So it's kind of a continuation of something that started to be brought up last week. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it seems like Helen was maybe a little bit of she was like the positivity in Carol's life.
Totally, yep.
Carol is a real pessimistic, stick in the mud by herself, which has gotten substantially worse since Helen's passing. Last thing, let me know what you think about this. I don't think we're supposed to like Carol right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Which has to flip eventually, right? Because it can't be she's always this abrasive, unhappy, negative Nancy, pain in the ass, stick in the mud, curmudgeon, as we said earlier.
Yeah. That's probably right. I think we have to give her a little bit of... I think once she starts putting together a plan, we may see some of that
things
unfold.
Flip a little.
Yeah. I thought one of the most... just to hit on that a little bit further, when... I just thought to myself when she throws that beautiful breakfast out, I was like, I honestly don't know if there's like a level of grief or confusion or like I'm eating that food.
It looked amazing.
Like I gotta eat.
Yeah.
I'm hungry even when I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like,
and somebody took time and care.
Yeah. So, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe in like a deep state of depression and the world having essentially just ended, maybe I wouldn't eat the food, but maybe at least like put it in the fridge for later or something.
Yeah, your fridge is barren.
But I that just flagged for me. I was like, no, don't. What are you doing? Don't throw it away. So yeah, they're definitely she is, and I think that's the point. Is you making this great point about how Helen was like her light, the positivity on the other side of the balance, the seesaw, basically evening them out a little bit.
The yin and yang,
the
sort
yin
of
and
thing.
the yang. And without that, she is as the tagline of the show stated, she's the most miserable person on earth. And I think that is an entendre. I think she's miserable because of what's happened, but she's kind of a miserable person as well. And we saw that even with Helen, right? She's just kind of...
She's a downer.
She's a downer. She's a Debbie Downer. She's not happy about her work. She is not, she's...
Nothing's good enough. She's on the bestseller list, but how high?
But how high? Yeah, all that type of stuff.
You're in this unbelievable hotel that even if you hate cold weather like I do, you'd still be like, Jesus, this is fucking amazing.
So I think we're certainly going to keep talking about that as we go forward to see whether what can bring positivity back to her
Does
life.
she change? Yeah. And I would also note that this was very much the case with Vince Gilligan's prior two hits. Breaking Bad, famously, Barrett could never buy all the way into because he friggin' hated, I think, mostly Jesse Pinkman, right?
I'm like my overall, like, you know, and I'm generalizing here, but my Breaking Bad complaint was that I just never really liked any of the characters on the show.
Yeah. And then for Better Call Saul, the reason I didn't get past season 3 in my first attempt at watching this show was I absolutely hated Chuck McGill. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And even Saul Goodman being the awful, sleazy piece of shit he was, at least that, you know, like the way Bob Odenkirk plays that character, there was something about it that was still fun.
Totally, yes.
But there were, you could argue that that Vince Gilligan loves to play with sort of irredeemable, generally unlikable, shitty people as his main characters. Yeah. And so I'm just curious, because I've already seen some of this bubbling up on Twitter, which is where I spend too much of my time. People being like, I hate Carol. Carol sucks. Like, you know, and I think that's supposed to kind of be where we're at. Yeah. And this is the first episode where it started to rub for me. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like this element of the show is being done incorrectly. I mean, like, I was like, Carol, come on.
Right.
Come on, lady.
Yeah.
But so I just am curious if at some point there's a little bit of a flip, because you would think we're supposed to hate the hive-minded and root against the hive mind. And like right now, I'm like, yeah, Zosia's awesome. I love hanging out with her. She's a wealth of knowledge and information. She's never in a bad mood, even if she's taking a friggin' hand grenade to the back. Yep. Like, whereas Carol is never happy, always negative, always in a bad mood, always a stick in the mud. Mm-hmm. And then there's something personal to that for me too, because like there have been phases of my life where I was extremely negative and pessimistic and couldn't really get joy out of like fucking anything. And so that's another reason that watching Carol behave that way, I'm like, snap out of it, lady.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in this world you could enjoy and be happy about, even if everybody else is a hive-minded, you know, zombie. Figure it out. Look at Kumba. Look how happy Kumba is. He's living the fucking dream. Be more like Kumba. And God, I hope we see him again.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm just so curious to see what...
TBD. Maybe we'll get that Vegas episode after all.
What we'll do with the rest of these normies, we'll have to wait and see. So Barrett and I will be back on Monday with our discussion, hopefully health pending, other events pending. But Mondays are when we're dropping our episodes usually, and on Monday we will have our discussion and review of Pluribus Episode 4. We have also begun coverage of The Wire Season 2 on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles after wrapping up Season 1, where Barrett and I discuss and review every episode of The Wire in the same way that we do Pluribus right now, except it's available exclusively on Patreon. Our companion podcast for episode 4 of The Wire Season 2 is dropping later this week. Our coverage of The Wire is friendly to first-timers and rewatchers, completely ad-free, of course, as is everything on our Patreon page. Go subscribe on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles to watch The Wire with us and support our show. You get access to our entire backlog of Patreon episodes when you subscribe on Patreon, hundreds of ad-free episodes, a companion podcast for every single episode of HBO's classic crime drama, The Sopranos, that's friendly to first-timers and rewatchers. Barrett and I did that back during the pandemic. We've got Movie Club with companion podcasts for over 20 different movies Barrett and I have watched together. Ton of content on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles. If you love our show and you want to see it continue into the future, going and subscribing on Patreon is a great way to ensure that happens by supporting us there. You can also support our sponsors. Today we had Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/oystersopen to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. We'll be back next week. Until next time, remember, we only want to make you happy.